challenging the guidelines of the DCI, of the DPP, the fact that the guidelines are now what forms the tool, the operative tool for the war against it. We raised serious questions that have been answered today by the Director of Criminal Investigations in his affidavit, sworn by the Director of the Anti-Terror Unit that is created by the Police Standing Orders and the Police Act. The Director of Criminal Investigation lays it bare, one, that the war against terror is premised on three things: detection, prevention, and disruption. Detection means whenever the DCI or other agencies involved in terror detect, they are supposed to immediately prevent. If you prevent, there will be nothing about prosecution. If you are unable to prevent at the detection level, you disrupt. The Director of Prosecution is saying, inform me that you have detected a terrorist at Westgate. Send me the file. I will look at it and approve he be arrested or he be charged. 4 examples are there. The bombing of the US Embassy at Haile Selassie Avenue, where more than 250 Kenyans died. The law is now that the DPP that inform me so that I think if you are, I will allow you to arrest. The Garissa bombing, students of the university died. That is at the fringe end of the northern part of the country. When will the DCI get information, get the file, sent to the DPP for the DPP to authorize? Westgate attack, very many Kenyans died. It is a matter of instant reaction, prevention, and disruption. So the DCI in his affidavit has provided the following. 1, the mandate of investigation is provided for in Article 245 of the Constitution to the police and specifically to the DCI. Article 157 gives the Director of Public Prosecution the mandate to prosecute. 2, the DCI has said he was never involved in the process of making these guidelines. Internationally, guidelines are provided for to not overthrow the Constitution. Judge Kinoti is saying that these guidelines are unconstitutional in the DCI's own words, because they have overthrown Article 245 that gives mandate of investigation purely in the hands of the DCI and in the hands of the National Police Service Commission. 3rd, DCI has enumerated a covert program that was aimed to hoodwink the public, but the DCI was part and parcel making of these guidelines. And he has completely said the 2 officers, chief inspectors who appeared at the signing stage, had no mandate. The letter to invite the DCI was never given to him. He came to see that letter after we have filed a petition. What was the purpose of the Director of the DPP going behind the Director of Criminal Investigations, getting an officer who had retired, who was on terminal leave, to allocate that file to 2 junior officers to attend. Yet the letter is addressed to the DCI, one George Kinoti, attention to him, and he has attached letter there. Fourth, the DCI puts it very clearly through his affidavit that the role of the prosecutor in terror issues is clearly defined. And he terms in one of the affidavits that the guidelines is a rubber stamp to let go of terrorists. It is a way to get clemency. It is a way to get the terrorists go scot-free. DCI has compared international best practices in areas dealing with terrorism. The whole world. This is the only country in Kenya where the prosecutor is in charge on matters terrorism. This is a question that affects the international reputation of Kenya in terms of the war against terror. How do we face the Americans? How do we face the British? How do we face Japan? How do we face other countries when our role, the guideline, is a sure way to ensure that the DPP gets information, he leaks it to the terrorists so that the terrorists can escape. 90% of the terrorist people are rarely arrested. They are suicide bombers. When they come, they are 99% prepared to die. Who do you arrest? How many are normally arrested? So that is the question the Director of Public Prosecution is saying, that one Nuruddin Haji, out of corruption, out of other ulterior motives, out of either religious or whatever motives, wants to know in advance who is likely to be arraigned or who is likely to be suspected as a terrorist. The motive is very clear, is to allow these people to escape to Somalia. 90% or 99% of the terrorists in this country come from Somalia. They operate in those remote areas. What on hell are you telling the DCI? That's what he's asking for, a state council who has just been admitted from the university to decide on a matter terrorism. State councils in the DPP's office have no experience at all on matters investigation, on matters terrorism, yet the DPP wants that line to be taken. In summary, the DCI has disowned the guidelines. The DCI has said those guidelines are unconstitutional. And remember what exactly the President of the Republic of Kenya did tell one Nuruddin Haji the other day when there was an international conference in Mombasa for prosecutors. If you are corrupt, you'll be told openly. We are telling the Director of Public Prosecution openly that the DCI has completely vindicated the President that your office is corrupt. The guidelines are intended to protect terrorists, and therefore we are only sorry that the judge was not sitting today and the matter will be mentioned on the 25th of July. So you can see the reaction. These are two government institutions created by the taxpayers' money. The DPP wants to be the chief police officer, to investigate, to charge, to prosecute, and that the DCI has rejected. I've served the